Hello and welcome back to your second video in the Excel topic. In this video we're going to be looking at the VLookup function, the V meaning vertical. So let me show you how to use it. You're going to need to be in exercise 4 of the traffic light, and we're going to use this scenario of a traffic light where red is stop, amber is wait and green is go. And what I've gone and done in here is simply typed in one of these options. So here is the word red. Now, the way a VLookup function works is that it requires 4 parts. Part 1 says I need to look up a certain cell. Part 2 says I need to look up that value in a specific table. I need to look down the first column to find this particular value, but the third part then says I need to return the answer from, in this case, the second column. And the fourth part is saying if it is looking for a specific value or if it's looking for a range of values. In this case, the VLookup is going to be looking for a specific value. So if it's a specific value, we type in the word false. If it was a range, then it would be true. Let me show you how it goes. So we go to the function key, we're looking for VLookup. If you cannot see it in your window, type in VLookup here and it will turn up, insert function. Now with a VLookup, here are our 4 options. So what are we looking up? Well, we're going to look up this cell. What table are we using? It's this one. What column are we going to be returning the answer from? It's column 2. And because we're looking for, in this column, a specific value, we want to put in the word false. Now, although you would not need to do absolute cell references in this particular exercise, because I'm not filling down, I'm just going to mention it now because we're going to need it later. In fact, it might even be good practice to, whenever you have a table, to make it an absolute cell reference. So we're basically saying this table is not going to move. We want it to stay exactly where it is. So we put a $ before the letter and the number on this one, and we do the same for here. Okay, so we've got that. Right, so let's go and click done and see what turns up here. Done. And we see the word stop. So let's go and put in amber and press return. We get wait. And let's do green. We get go. So make sure you do this exercise, but more importantly, make sure you understand how a VLookup works and that you're putting in 4 different elements into this function. Okay, once you've gone and done that, I want you to go on to exercise 5. And you'll need to use a VLookup function for this exercise. So what we have here is a table. We have our table of parties. We've got our party code here. You're going to need to put your VLookup in this box here so that when you've completed it, A is going to show in D2 Liberal Democratic Party, and in C3 it's going to show, or in D3 it's going to show Socialist Alliance. Remember, when you put in your table, use absolute cell references and then you'll be able to fill down. Okay, so I'm going to leave that with you, and you can pause the video if you wish, but I'm going to now go and talk about exercise 6. So we are familiar with a lot of this calculations we're going to do. So I'm going to quickly flick through this. So the first one is here, and we're going to need a count function. So we'll go over to our fx, we look for count, we're going to insert, and it's counting the number of tasks done. So it's got the right number selected. I press return and fill down. Now for total marks. So I'll use the auto sum. We don't want these numbers involved. So let me reselect, press return and fill down. Now then, here we need to make sure that the percent column is formatted to percentage, which it is, no decimal places, and we click OK. And here we're going to put an equal sign in. We're going to say this is the number of points scored divided by the maximum number of points that could be scored, which is this one here. And what we're going to do, we're going to fill down. These are going to be relative cells, but we want to always divide by 135. So we need to make this an absolute cell reference. So $1 before the J and $1 before the number. And we press return and we get the result. And now I can fill down. And if I double click here, you can see the relative cell and you can see the absolute cell. Now then, let me get rid of the format builder and we are on to the VLookup. First things first, this table here, when you create a table, needs to be in ascending order, going from lowest to largest or smallest to biggest. If you put it in descending order, it's not going to work. So any tables that you create for a VLookup must be in ascending order. The second thing to note is that as we are going to be looking down this column in order to return the answers here, you'll see that this is not specific. What we have is a range. So we're not going to be using false. We're going to be needing true. So let's go and do that. In here, and let's get a VLookup. So VLookup, insert function. What are we looking up? We're looking up this cell. What table are we looking up? Well, it's this one. And what you will need to do, because you're going to fill down, just like you did with the politics one, you are going to need to put in dollar signs before the letters and before the numbers. So let's go and do this. Right, what are we returning? Well, we want to find the grade, so it's in column 2. And as I said before, we're looking for a range down this column, so we need to put in the word true. So if it's specific, thinking of the F, it's going to be false. If it's a range, which is an R, it's going to be true. And we click done. Good. Now let's fill down. And we have that. Okay, so that's what you will need to do for exercise 6. In exercise 7, I'm going to leave this one with you. This one has a whole range and slightly more complicated formulas for you to do. Here is your lookup table. Here is a value which will need to be an absolute cell reference. Down here are the instructions that you need to follow, and you've got hints up here as to what formula you should create for each column. So go and have a go and get up to exercise 7. So thank you very much for watching that. You will be looking at the VLookup in the next video. But get up to exercise 7 and then I look forward to seeing you later. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.